This is just a few-week-old puppy, maybe 6-7 weeks old. This was taken up at Holiday House in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Dr. Ivans, one of his puppies. There's another black puppy that's one of his.
It's amazing how they look like Cocker Spaniels when they're new.
This is Doug at Sonny Shea's Grandeur Kennels with one of Sonny's new puppies.
And that's the trophy Kay Finch prepared for one of the specialties a few years ago. I don't remember the date, do you?
No, but isn't it lovely?
Beautiful thing. That's
particularly even when they use flour.
Now this is of course, the best of show of the Afghan Hound Club of America trophy, and there it is, 1954.
And there's Taejon.
Taejon,
he's the one who won it.
Yep, he won a lot, as a matter of fact. And we have a lot of footage on Taejon, because every place we went, we tried to get the dogs that looked like they would be the famous dogs of the future, and Taejon, of course, would have to be one of them. Part of the preparation, the painful preparation that goes into the show ring.
This is either the judging at the Garden, George, in the specialty, or this is the Hound group. I'm not sure which.
This would be at the Garden.
Yes, at Westminster. That's best of breed at the Garden, with Kay and Taejon.
If we're a little vague about some of this, it's because many of these pictures are quite old, really. I think we started taking this footage about almost 15 years ago, back about 1950.
There's Charlie Costabile, too.
Yes. He's on the right on the screen. Kay Finch grooming Taejon after another of his wins. Somebody's smoking right in front of the camera.
They hadn't read Surgeon Terry's report yet.
Hadn't been published. I've always amazed the way these Afghan hounds look like they knew it all the time after they've won a trophy.
Yes, lovely.
They're not nearly as surprised as the owners.
Now here's the Hound group. This is Taejon in the Hound group, and there's the whole Hound group, in fact. I think it'd be very interesting even for people of other breeds, because they probably would love to see these pictures, because many of these dogs have been long gone now.
In fact, many of the famous Afghans in this reel, some of them that you will see a little later, are no longer with us.
Well, most all of them, because it's too old to reel, and unfortunately, dogs don't live nearly as long as we want them to when we all love them so.
There he goes. He's having as much fun as anybody, I'll tell you that.
And there he goes to number one.
Yeah. Well, he knew that.
Of course he did.
No surprises.
Beautiful. That's the first Hound group he won. He won another one, but this is the first one.
And the rest of them are trying out for number 3 and 4. That's the Bloodhound, I believe, in the number 2. Can't see.
Yes, there is a very famous Bloodhound.
These were taken from the balcony of the garden.
You must have had a long lens, George.
I did. I had a
beautiful
photo lens, a telephoto lens.
This is best in show, is it not?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it would have to be.
This is for best in show that night.
This is when the hearts beat a little extra hard. Who's the judge? Do you recognize him? I hate to ask you.
Yes, that's Van Court of California.
You're the statistical expert.
Not really.
Historical expert.
And I must say, Taejon really had the love of the audience with him that night. He was just magnificent. Except here was, I guess, from what I've heard, one of the greatest bulldogs of all time. One of the greatest dogs of all time. That was Fear Not.
Fear Not? Yeah,
Fear Not, yes.
Well, here's Kay after... This is at the specialty, I can tell.
And this is Johnny after the specialty, after he won. That was...
I don't remember the year. We're not going to try to be too accurate about it, but I can tell it's the specialty by the background, the wood paneling there in the Henry Hudson Hotel. And that's Lillian Wernsman being
yes, the Wernsman of the very, very famous Arkan kennels, without which I don't think any of us would have ever had Afghans.
Well, they certainly left their mark.
We're not for the Arkan dogs, and Charles Wernsman, and Lillian, too.
This was a celebration after the fact. I believe this was in the Henry Hudson Hotel also.
Yes, this was in Kay's suite.
There he is again at some show. I have a hunch this is the Morris and Essex show. Looks like
it's an outdoor show,
yeah.
obviously.
I might add these films are gleaned from many different types of stock. That's why they don't all match. Some of them were shot on negative film and prints were made, and others were on reversible film. The photographer
At least we
don't
have
know what
them,
I'm
though,
talking
you know.
about. Hmm?
We don't have the dogs, but we do have the film.
Very alert, wonderful personality.
Marvelous showman. I think one of the greatest showmans one of the greatest showmans the Afghan hound breed has ever had was Taejon.
As I recall, this was taken at our home in Philadelphia.
Yes, it was.
But I know who that is.
Oh, that's Sharon. That's Oak Varden Sharon, the dog whose father, Vanita Varden, went all the way to India from Los Angeles, where she was appearing in motion pictures, to pick out Sharon's father, and he was of her first litter of Umberto, the true Indian Afghan.
Beautiful head.
This is our Tamerlane's father. This is old Sharon, Charon.
They were much leaner than many of the dogs we see today.
I adored them.
Had a lean, narrow head.
This dog was 14 years old the day this picture was taken.
His vision was a little obstructed.
He was blind.
He didn't know what was going on.
No.
I think we have some slow motion pictures of him coming up. Oh, that's Tuck.
That's Riverside Tuck of Pocono. That's a Bucks County dog. And this is Tamerlane's mother. You saw her father and Sharon, his father. Now you see old Tuck. And that's Tammy's mama.
She was getting along with the gray mother.
Oh, yeah, she was very old. She was 11, 12 years old at the time.
And Tamerlane always had sort of her personality. He looks like her in the way she's happy.
He's sort of laughing and gay and loving the whole world. Now, this is Tamerlane's litter sister. This is Oak Varden's Chartuk. Chartuk. This was a dog that was never shown because she had no coat. But she, as you will see very soon, was one of the most magnificent moving hounds. This is the way I think an Afghan should move.
Well, many people will agree. She's been described many times as an ideal dog as far as movement is concerned.
But you couldn't win with her because she had no coat.
And you noticed how she reaches out with her front feet and drives with her back feet.
Yes.
In a gait that is something to be envied. This is full speed. You're supposed to look at the dog, not Dr. Ivans.
She's prettier than he is.
We're commenting on her gait. Here it is. See how she reaches far out with those front feet.
This is Chartuk.
She doesn't pull them back until they hit the sod. And the back legs are driving legs. This is Tammy.
This is our Tamerlane. We inherited Tamerlane after his show career. This was the last time he was shown. This was at Bryn Mawr. He was 5 1/2 years old, and he won the Hound group, and that day he was retired, and he came to live with us.
Magnificent animal, and a wonderful personality. These are some of the competitors he faced in his last Hound group.
And there he was.
Yeah.
That's our Tammy.
Is that Mary Young?
Yes, Mary's handling him.
He and Mary were quite a team.
Yes, they made some Afghan history, winning Best in Show at Washington, D.C., when Afghans weren't doing much winning of Best in Show.
There's old Tammy. His coat is so heavy it almost obscures the way he walks.
Yes, you see Chartuk, the dog previously with no coat, was his litter sister, so you couldn't tell that he could move somewhat like she does, or a great deal like she did.
And in this picture, he looks like his mother.
Yes, he looks like old Riverside Tuck.
There he is with the Cub Scouts when our kids were a lot younger than they are today. And this is a perfect Afghan temperament. He enjoyed this. He wasn't just being patient and tolerant.
No, he adored children. Just adored them.
There's a good ad for the breed. I don't think I'd put up with that myself.
No, but he loved it, really. You could tell.
And that is Doug in the front, who is now 18 years old. So that gives you an idea. Tammy was placid, but he was a very affectionate dog. He had a wonderful dignity along with it. Even those kids aren't going to ruffle him.
Terribly aloof.
Oh, yes. And Tammy and our other dog, who was an Arkan dog, actually, by origin, loved these ice cream cones.
This also was when we were living in Philadelphia.
Don't let the SPCA or any of the humane societies see this. They know how we abused the dogs for years. And there's Bill Ivins again with another puppy. I love the eternal optimism of the Afghan breeder. Everyone's going to be a champion. Here's another one.
This is Baby Tongren.
Benghazi is the kennel name. Do you recall who this is? I'm rusty. I am rusty, and I know that many of the people watching will know this one, but I've got to get another look.
It's Karli.
Karli Benghazi, yes. Corn. That's who it is.
Yeah. At a show.
Mm-hmm. This was an outdoor show, and I don't quite remember where it was.
I think on Long Island.
Yes, it was on Long. Another slow motion of an Afghan in motion.
Lovely.
And you're supposed to keep looking at the dog. That's Karli. One of the handsome ones.
And there's Karli at the garden, too, being shown.
They seem to enjoy this. I'm convinced they enjoy it. I don't know. Some people don't think they do, but they always act like they do.
Of course, Afghans are all hams.
Now, this isn't Karli. This is...
no, this is Sinceri.
Sinceri.
This is one of Babby's bitches. Lovely bitch with a lovely coat.
If you were on radio, you couldn't say that.
I know, but I'm not.
There she is. She's nice...
yes.
Nice looking.
Yes, she's beautiful.
Good. Especially good. The dogs are always so much more at home than the people.
Always.
When you point a camera at them.
This is Sinceri gating.
I believe she is gone, too. Is she not?
Oh, yes, long ago.
And Karli is, of course.
Yes.
I love the slow motion pictures because I think they demonstrate something about the Afghan movement that escapes you when they're going full speed. Now for Grandeur Kennel, Sonny Shea.
We all know Shere Khan. Well, you'll see his ancestors today.
And this is our Doug, who's now 18 years old, being attacked viciously by those Grandeur puppies. You can
wonderful temperament.
You see, they're unreliable. There's no doubt about it. He wanted to take every one of those home with him.
I'm surprised he didn't, really. I would have given him anything he wanted, and he wanted all of Sonny's puppies.
And there's a fella.
There is the famous Blue Boy of Grandeur. This is Shere Khan, Champion Shere Khan's father. It's too bad this isn't in color, because Shere Khan was one of the most heavenly blue shades.
This is Blue Boy.
Yes, I'm sorry. Blue Boy was one of the most heavenly, true blue, very pale blue colors you've ever seen.
Wonderfully straight back line. What I have always thought of as the Indian type of Afghan. I don't know if I'm accurate in
well,
that.
his father, which we will see later, is Scooch.
And another great temperament.
Oh, my. No one could beat Blue Boy for personality and temperament.
I think he was run over by a car trying to rescue another dog, as I recall it.
Yes.
They used to send him out to bring back the strays.
They did. He didn't have to have a leash on at all.
As I recall, Sonny used to take him to dog shows and keep him on the bench.
No, his father.
Oh, was it Scooch?
She used to show Scooch without a leash.
Without a leash. He was always a happy thing.
Oh, and a beautiful dog. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal.
Trick dog, too. So.
Oh, very bright.
Now we're going to do the obedience bit here. He looks a little bored by it all. Yep. What am I supposed to do, Ma? There we go. He was so anxious to get close to Sonny, he goofed a couple of tries on that.
Lovely. She'd say, kiss me, and he would, you know, just on command.
Yeah. And there is a famous one.
This is Turkuman Nissim's Laurel. This is the great English dog that Sonny imported. We knew him as Captain.
He's another magnificent moving dog.
He spent the night at our house several times. We enjoyed having him. He was a lovely guest.
He had a nice temperament, too. He was not as outgoing as some of them, but he was very quietly affectionate.
Yes.
He's one of the greats of the past. Somebody hit me in the head like that, I'd bite him, but he wouldn't.
This is the great old Scooch we were talking about. This is the grandfather of Shere Khan. This is the father of Blue Boy.
Blue Boy, He was old at the time this picture was taken.
This is Scoochie, yes. This is the great Scoochie.
And he looks, Blue Boy and he have the same quality, and I think you can see it in Shere Khan.
Yes, the great Indian dog.
Yes. Now watch the tail go. He's waiting for a cue. I hope we're on perfect
Sharon
sync.
had it, too. Of course, Sharon was imported almost from India.
Yeah, there goes the tail. He's waiting for somebody to say, come.
This is the grandfather of Shere Khan.
If we're a little off sync on these pictures, it's because they're separate tape machine and film projector, but we're trying to give you a running commentary. We might be a little behind or a little ahead of the picture.
Such a marvelous animal, this animal.
It was an unusual color, too, which I think is transmitted to Shere Khan in a sense.
Yes. Marvelous. Look at the neck. Look at the straight back. Look at the depth of brisket, which you can't see, but you can get some idea of it.
It's there, all right.
Oh, yes. He was a fabulous dog. Marvelously built animal with much brains and much personality. Great, great dog.
Here he comes.
See, even as old as he is, he's going through all that Blue Boy did.
Like father, like son. There we are. We tried to make these pictures match up as well as we could, with father and son going through the same paces. And I must admit, this is a dog...
That's a bitch that Sonny had that I don't know. Even her breed, she's a Grandeur bitch. No, she was a Grandeur bitch, the Sonny bred, but I can't think of her name.
That is the famous Basha.
Yes, this is the litter brother of Shere Khan.
Of Taejon.
Of Taejon, I mean, yes. Excuse me.
This is the one... This, I think, is a Morrison Essex show. He was very much like Taejon in many respects.
Oh, indeed.
And a lovely dog. There he is. You can see how much they look alike in the ring.
Indeed they do.
If you recognize anybody, call them out, Beth.
I can't. I don't. Just Sonny and Basha.
Basha. If the judge would take off his hat, we might know him. Ah. I don't know which one is more proud.
Sonny or Basha? This is Margie. This is the famous Mahabbat, Majara Mahabbat. And this day, the temperature was about 100. It was a little over 100. And he just couldn't stand to be moved or to be shown in any respect. However, I'm very glad we do have a lovely profile, a lovely picture of Mahabbat.
He was a magnificently beautiful dog.
Yes, a very glamorous dog with a perfectly magnificent coat. And Margie always groomed him so beautifully.
These are dogs from another kennel. This is Windtrist of Louise French, Snyder.
Louise Snyder now. She was Louise French then of Malvern, Pennsylvania.
Windtrist Kennels. And they're one of the puppies. Yeah. One of the many fuzzy little puppies. And I'm not sure I can... Well, some of them I'm going to know because some of them were very famous. the Winters kennels, but some of them I might be a little rusty on because there was a Derby and those I don't remember who. Nummy and Derby. I think we have those in here.
I think we have too, but you put the wrong film in and they don't show up as well as they should, George.
All right, blame me.
It's a beautiful puppy.
Mm-hmm. Little whiskers.
Little old man.
He's not about to worry about anything except let's go have some fun.
He doesn't know the future does hold a show ring.
No.
He's just going to have fun here. He wants to go and romp and play.
So what's going on, Mom? There's a famous one. That's Fieldy.
That's Wintris by Fieldy. This is at Devon in Pennsylvania at the show.
It's a pure white dog.
The only pure white Afghan I've ever seen with a beautiful black furnishings and coal black eyes, which were just marvelous.
And he had a heavenly disposition,
Oh,
too.
this was the clown of all time.
He's funny. He's a very funny dog.
Oh, he adored people. He adored laughing at them and laughing with them. And he was just as white as snow. I haven't seen all Afghans, certainly, but he is the only pure white Afghan I have ever seen.
And by white, we don't mean cream.
No, I mean
cream.
pure white. I mean just as white as the driven snow. Beautiful dog and a lovely, lovely, lovely thing. This is Wintris by Fieldy.
Now there's Nummy and Derby, and if you can tell me which is which.
I don't. They're litter brothers, and they're so much alike. And this is where I said you had a bad piece of film with you. Remember?
No. I'm not going to admit it.
Well, then the lighting was wrong.
Your eyes are growing dim.
No, the lighting was wrong.
Weren't they shown as a brace?
I can't recall.
I believe they were. There's Fieldy in the background. Want to know what's going on.
He always did. He was so curious.
Very curious. They make a handsome team, I'll tell you that.
Aren't they lovely?
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful heads.
Many of these films were shown on television in Philadelphia and New York. Yeah, they're handsome in the face. Very. Looks like it's hot.
I think it was. It was summer. Well, Louise is in a sleeveless dress, so you know it's hot.
These really take you back because, there have been generation after generation since these dogs were in their heyday.
I'm afraid so.
There is Chris Gibbs.
Ghiggia of Peshawar.
Yeah, that's who it is. And
this was taken at the Rose Tree Hunt Club in Philadelphia. He was 14 years old.
I know he was very old.
Yes, as you can tell by his eyes. But he was one of the great old dogs. And there's Chris, and very unfortunately, Chris has recently left us too. Just within the last 6 months.
She obligingly showed us Ghiggia. He was not really.
She brought him all
well.
the way down to show us. And as I said, he was 14 years old. Lovely coated dog.
Yes. Nicely, he was a famous one.
Yes, indeed he was.
I bet there are a lot of people who've never seen him but have heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
That was an awful place to ask anybody to show a dog in this.
It was all bumpy, running up and down hills.
You can tell he's old. His teeth are irregular,
and his eyes are.
He was frightened. He didn't know what was going on. There they are.
Makes a nice picture.
Mm-hmm. That was terribly difficult terrain to navigate.
But he went very fast, and this was an old dog at the time, believe me. He did a lovely job. See how his front legs stretch out?
Mm-hmm. Trying to get over the clods of turf.
Yes, exactly.
One of the historic animals in the Afghan breed.
Ghiggia of Peshawar.
And there he is, good close-up. You can tell by the eyes he's an old animal. But still bright and alert.
Yes, he's a beautiful dog.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful dog.
Whoop, let's get out of here. This
was an English dog.
Yes, that's
it was
what
imported
it is.
from England, and they stopped one day and found out we had 2 Afghans or several Afghans, and we just took a picture of him, and he had no top knot, and I don't think he's ever been bred, and I don't know his name.
But he's an Afghan.
But
so
he was
welcome.
an Afghan, so we took a picture and incorporated it into this reel.
There is Golden Chance.
Yes. Yeah, this is Kay Cushman's dog, Chance.
Mm-hmm. This is at a show somewhere in Pennsylvania, an outdoor show. Well, that's it. I guess you've all seen This Is the Week That Was.
These are the dogs that were.